Hello, and welcome to another video on daily weather charts. These videos diagnose the current weather pattern and discuss how it will play out for the upcoming day. Today's charts are valid for September 8th, 2023, and if you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe, and we'll get started. And starting today with the radar imagery for valid through up to about midnight Friday morning. And so we have some scattered showers and thunderstorms ahead of a cold front that is sort of stalled or slowly pushing to the east over the past couple of days, and that's going to continue to push off to the east over the next couple of days. And so, also to note, this is the current satellite loop for Hurricane Lee, and there's going to be more. I'm going to talk more about this coming up, but this has currently been rapidly intensifying into a Category 5 hurricane. And so this is just remarkable satellite imagery of this hurricane, and we'll look into the environment and also where we think this might track over the next several days. So before we get into that, I'm going to go through the upper air charts. And we're going to start at 300 millibars, as we normally do, and we're looking for the jet stream. But currently, there aren't any real significant weather systems over the continental United States. Jet stream is kind of located up over the northwestern U.S. and over southern Canada. Ooh, sorry about that. And so, over much of the country, we just have a couple of belts of enhanced flow, thanks to a shortwave trough that's going to be pushing down into the southern United States, and then associated with this upper level trough. And keep this trough in mind over the southeastern U.S., as that's going to be important coming up when we're talking about the track of Hurricane Lee. So now we're going to look at 500 millibars, and we have a ridge of high pressure that is over the desert southwest, and that's keeping the weather pretty calm for much of the southern United States. And then we do have this one really subtle shortwave that is going to be tracking down through the Ozarks and down into the lower Mississippi Valley, and that could initiate some additional rounds of thunderstorms for the southern United States, and those could have a severe weather threat with it, as that shortwave is going to be interacting with a moist and unstable air mass down at the surface. And so here at the surface, we have our cold front that is situated somewhere across the getting into the New England region, and then tracking through the southern United States, and then kind of arching back up here into the southern plains. So we have a surface low that is slowly getting its act together. It'll become better defined as the shortwave tracks down through the southern United States. And then otherwise, we have some high pressure that is coming down from Canada. And so that's blowing in some cooler continental air down into the United States. And so this is the severe weather outlook for Friday, September 8th. This is the day 2 convective outlook, and so by the time you're watching this video, this will probably be updated. But for right now, we just have two areas of severe weather to be concerned about. One that is over the New England region down into the Mid-Atlantic region, a standard level 2 out of 5 slight risk. And then another slight risk that is down for East Texas and Western Louisiana, mostly. And this is mostly for a damaging wind threat, with a few storms for tomorrow afternoon. And so that's going to cover the forecast portion of this video. Now we're going to switch topics into the tropics. Now we have Hurricane Lee, and actually I'm going to back out here. We're going to get the bigger overview. And so we have two tropical systems that we are concerned with right now. We have Hurricane Lee, that you probably heard a lot about by this point, and then we have Tropical Storm Margot, that is recently developed in the eastern Atlantic. So I'll start with Hurricane Lee. It has been recently upgraded to a Category 5 hurricane just about an hour ago. And so this has been rapidly intensifying throughout the past couple of days, and it has skyrocketed up to a Category 5 hurricane. And it is tracking to the northwest at about 14 miles per hour. And so this is the cone of uncertainty for Hurricane Lee. This is where we expect Lee to be tracking over the next 5 days. We believe it's going to end up somewhere east of the Bahamas and north of Puerto Rico, basically staying out to sea, at least for the next 5 days. And then we'll come come back to the track a little bit because I'll discuss that coming up. And then also to note here is Tropical Storm Margot that is going to be tracking to the northwest and into basically the central Atlantic Ocean as potentially a hurricane, but conditions may not be as favorable up in there as, of course, they will be in the western Atlantic. So now let's dive into the environment that Hurricane Lee is in. So this is showing the wind shear values. And so here is Hurricane Lee currently positioned. And so typically you want, for the wind shear value, you typically want about 20 knots or less. Lee is currently kind of right on the edge of about 20 knots vertical wind shear. And it's going to be heading into some increased wind shear, but that wind shear is actually generated by the upper level outflow from the hurricane. So these are the upper level winds that are derived from satellite. And so you have the winds that are coming out of the hurricane like this. And so that is actually indicative of the upper level divergence from the hurricane. And so that is what's led to the hurricane rapidly intensifying so quickly. And so this wind shear is actually generated by that. So it's not really unfavorable wind shear, really, because it's just intensifying the storm. So in that plus the very warm waters that the hurricane is over, it's located over about 29 to 30 degrees Celsius sea surface temperature. So that is ideal for rapid intensification. Also note that there is no dry air surrounding the hurricane at all. It is in a very warm and moist tropical environment for rapid intensification. And so that is expected to continue for the next couple of days, and then hopefully it'll start weakening afterwards, but it'll be a slow weakening trend. It will still be a large and powerful, dangerous hurricane as we go through next week. So where do we think Hurricane Lee might end up? So these streamlines here represent the steering and where we think the hurricane might go. So currently it is going to be tracking to the west-northwest, and then it's going to be slowly going to slow down, and then it's going to be slowly be turning to the north, thanks to this troughing you see over the southeastern U.S. So that's going to be this is going to be picking up the hurricane, and then it'll be gradually be making the turn to the north. So when exactly does this turn to the north? That's a little uncertain because there's a lot of variables here. We know the hurricane is going to be slowing down, and also where exactly is this trough positioned over the East Coast. And so those two things will really have a big impact on just how quickly and where exactly Hurricane Lee is going to be going. So we expect it to be currently staying out to the sea, and we hope that it will be tracking away from land, so away from the East Coast and away from Bermuda. But areas over on the East Coast and over on Bermuda should definitely be keeping an eye on the track of Hurricane Lee. And then as we go into next week, we should have a little bit more certainty on where Lee is exactly going to track. And so that's all I have for this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.